Welcome into the Packers Report. My name is Joey Peterson. So happy you guys are joining me today. We got an awesome show lined up for you guys because ESPN has not just one, but two trade proposals for the Green Bay Packers during training camp. Two trades they believe would be win-win, not just for Green Bay, but the teams they're doing these trades with. They gave 5 in total. First one, Packers trade away, blank. I'll let you know who that is. Second one, Packers trade for. The Raiders trade for Greg Newsome. Chicago, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay trade for running backs. Dolphins trade for Joshua Williams. They had a ton in this article, but of course we're only focused on Green Bay right here at the Packers Report. So stay tuned. I'll tell you about those trades in just a couple of seconds. For that, let's check on how each channel in the NFC North is during training camp for subs added. Right now, in third place, just behind Bears now and Lions talk, ahead of Vikings now, 247 subs added to the channel since training camp started. I want to see that number go up because we give you daily coverage free every single day. That's what daily means right here on the Packers Report. Help us get into first place and beat Bears now and Lions talk for subs added during training camp. Trade number 1. Who did the Packers trade for? Per ESPN, they proposed that the Packers trade for Giants edge rusher and former top 5 pick Kayvon Thibodeaux. Here's a little bit more from what the Four Letter Network had to say about the edge rusher. The Packers are natural trade partners here. This is a team in contention now, but with a major need at edge. Their current grouping of Rashawn Gary, Van Ness, and Igbari, and 4th-round pick Baron Sorrell probably isn't cutting it. The team ranked 26th in pass rush win rate last season. Thibodeaux would certainly help the cause. Here's the official trade proposed by ESPN. Kayvon Thibodeaux and a 5th-round pick. That's what the Packers receive. But you got to give up a second rounder for 1 KT. And I'll be honest with you, I would think about it, okay? A second round seems like a lot, but we've talked a ton over the offseason with TJ Watt trade rumors, Trey Hendrickson trade rumors, even Max Crosby trade rumors, thinking all the way back to like the beginning of the offseason. Pass rushing and pass rush help is what this team needs. I believe that's the final piece to make this team more whole, make this team more complete. But for Thibodeaux, a second rounder, you got to kind of think on that, okay? Because if you look at the last 4 seasons, one of them being at Oregon, where he had 7 sacks and 49 tackles, he's had good success in the National Football League. 2023, 11.5 sacks, took a little bit of a step back last year in 2024, only played in 12 games, had 5.5 sacks for the Giants. And so you look at those numbers and you see the cost of a second-round pick, and it kind of makes you scratch your head and say, is he worth that? Is Kayvon Thibodeaux worth a second-round pick? Sure, you get a 5th back, that's great, but this team's got a lot to think about in terms of what this trade would mean, because Kayvon Thibodeaux is not a splash, right? He's not a guaranteed thing. If you trade for TJ Watt, if you trade for Trey Hendrickson, you know exactly what you're going to get. Now, you would get somebody older, but you know the value, you know the production you're going to get. With Kayvon Thibodeaux, sure, you could have a lot of really good seasons because of how young he is, but he also could give you 5.5 sacks again in 2025, just like he did in 2024. You let me know. Would you accept this trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Let me know how you're feeling about this in the comments section down below. I'll let you know my thoughts on the other half of this ad break, but make sure, Kayvon Thibodeaux, 2026 5th rounder for a second round selection. Would you do it? Go ahead and give me an A for accept or a D for decline. For me, I don't think I would trade a second rounder for Thibodeaux. Like I said, you just don't really know what you're going to get with the production value of it. Sure, it helps that you know he's young. It helps that you know he's an athletic freak, but he's had injury concerns, and he hasn't really been consistent in the entirety of his NFL career through 3 seasons. Now, the funny thing is, when you talk about the New York Giants, guys, they have an unbelievable edge rushing group. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Abdul Carter, they just added this last year. They have an embarrassment of riches over there in New York. Honestly, it's a shame that those 3 guys are wasting away in the Big Apple because they're not going to win more than 6 games this year. But because of that, there's part of me that thinks there's maybe a chance that you'd get away with getting something a little bit less or giving something a little bit less, maybe a third rounder for a guy like Thibodeaux, because they already have such great other pass rushing options. But they might not think of it that way. They probably look at him and say, hey, this guy's only played 3 years in the NFL. He was a top 5 pick. He's 2 years removed from 12.5 sacks. We're taking nothing less than a second rounder. Coming up, we got another trade proposal to talk about from our friends over there at ESPN. But before we get into that, make sure if you guys want to look your best while cheering on the best, you head to chatsports.com/Packers t-shirt to get this for just $16. Okay, we get to look at the analytics every single day with how we do with Fanatics, and you guys have been loving this thing. But because you've been loving it, it means there's not many left. So get yours today because this deal is not going to last very long. I can promise you that. Chatsports.com/Packers t-shirt. That's the link. I made it super easy for you. Put it in the comments and description of today's video. So if you want to take advantage of a $16 Packers Nike t-shirt, head down there right now. Trade number 2 that we're talking about on today's show. Packers trade Dontayvion Wicks to Arizona. He joins Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Kyler Murray, and that group in the offense. ESPN thinks that this would be mutually beneficial. They said the Packers could mitigate the cost of the Thibodeaux move by dealing from their own position of surplus. The Packers' depth chart still boasts Jayden Reed, first-round pick Matthew Golden, Romeo Doubs, rookie third-round pick Savion Williams, and Wicks. Arizona is in the opposite situation. After Marvin Harrison Jr., the Cardinals wide receiver room features Zay Jones, Michael Wilson, and Greg Dortch, a fairly lackluster group. Wicks' raw numbers undersell his upside, in my opinion, and Arizona would be making a bet to that effect. Here's what the trade they propose looks like. Green Bay would receive a 2026 fourth-round pick. Cardinals would receive Dontayvion Wicks. And I'm not going to lie to you. A 2026 fourth rounder, like getting a fourth-round pick for Dontayvion Wicks, I think I would make this trade. I know a lot of you guys are really, really big Wicks fans. And I'm a Wicks believer. I believe in his talent. When that guy gets the ball, the things he can do with it are unbelievable. But that's the thing. There's only one football to go around. Just one. And when you think about it critically, the weapons that Jordan Love has at his disposal, Dontayvion Wicks is a lot further down that list than you might think. Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Doubs, Jayden Reed, all 5 of those guys are getting the football from Jordan Love most likely before Dontayvion Wicks is. So you're looking at a trade of giving up your 6th best option, and that's with Christian Watson still out. He's going to be back in the late October, early November. Once he's back, Dontayvion Wicks goes down to the 7th best option. Your 6th or 7th best option for a 4th rounder? Come on, guys. Like, to me, that sounds a little bit like a no-brainer. And I hear you. I love Wicks' ceiling, okay? His route tree is unbelievable. But I hate his floor. Absolutely hate it. And we've seen a lot of his floor over the last couple of seasons. Since 2021, he has a 12.2% drop rate, which is the 4th worst in the National Football League. He's at the 4th worst drop rate among all wide receivers in football in the last 4 seasons. So if what ESPN is saying is right and you could get a 4th rounder for a guy like that, I don't know why you would not do it in a heartbeat. I like Wicks. I like 4th round picks more, though, especially for a guy who's your 6th or 7th best option. Now, we do have to talk about the fact that he is dealing with a bit of a calf injury. Happened during training camp. He didn't practice this last week on Tuesday. And so, I know you're going to be in the comment section saying, Joey, he's hurt. They're not going to trade him. This is just a proposal. I think he's going to be back. This is all going to happen, I think, what ESPN is saying, sometime before the season, maybe even during the season. But take the calf injury out of it and just take Dontayvion Wicks, who he is at the core as a player. Which would you rather? Trade for Kayvon Thibodeaux? Remember, that's a 2nd round pick. Or trade away Dontayvion Wicks and get back a 4th. You let me know in the comment section down below. Get their initials in there. Type your KTs or type your DTs in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's episode. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you got me on social media, Instagram, Twitter. I'm there on both platforms. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel.